Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts 3 news and information video. Today for you guys, we've got some interesting news and information from Tetsuya Nomura himself, talking upon Guardian form, of course, Counter Shield, which is one of the new drive forms available to us within Kingdom Hearts 3. This form was actually first debuted within the 2017 orchestra trailer, and of course, it's an orange sort of drive form that utilizes a shield. Now, what's interesting about this is Tetsuya Nomura hasn't actually spoken too much about specific forms, and when he does, there's always some really interesting information. We've seen a lot of gameplay on Guardian forms so far, but really not too much information when it comes to Tetsuya Nomura actually just sitting down and talking about it. The other thing that I wanted to talk about today is Tetsuya Nomura also goes over how some forms might be more useful against certain scenarios and boss fights throughout Kingdom Hearts 3 as well. So let's jump into the first piece of news and information. This is stemming from the Famitsu interview, and this is what they asked him. They said, the Keyblade from Hercules' world will transform into a shield. According to prior news, at that point, Sora will enter the guard form. On top of that, will you be able to attack with it and not just guard? Nomura said, actually, it's not the guard form, it's now officially become the Guardian form. This is in reference to the Guardian in the Guardians of Light. So suitably, he will also be able to utilize the shield to attack, sort of like how Goofy does. I'm sure you noticed the huge fists that appeared and delivered a frenzy of punch attacks. That's actually a counter attack that only the shield transformation can utilize. And of course, it's not the only counter that's available. We've also prepared devastating finishing moves too. So I think the first thing that we need to talk about is the fact that this ability, this attack right here, the big fisticuff move, is in fact a counter attack. Meaning that instead of actually being some sort of devastating final move or finishing move, this is rather a sort of guard and then attack back with massive fists sort of situation. So yeah, Tetsuya Nomura has explained that the big fist attack that we see within the 2017 orchestra trailer is indeed a counter attack. Now, in case you guys don't know really what a counter attack is, essentially in Kingdom Hearts, when you perform a successful guard, you can then in return attack with a devastating move. However though, we've never actually seen a counter attack to this degree where we literally summon massive fists out of God knows where. So currently as of right now, what I'm thinking is, will there be a certain resource that we'll actually have to use in order to perform this counter attack? Is it really as easy just to perform a guard and then in return we can activate this crazy ability? If we can actually just perform this ability at will, then honestly speaking, I feel like this move will be slightly overpowered. It seems like it covers a crazy amount of space, which means we can probably take down a good, I don't know, 8 to 10 enemies all in one go from just activating this one ability. So I personally believe that we shouldn't really be able to activate this counter attack at will, but rather in specific moments. However, Tetsuya Nomura has mentioned that there will be devastating final moves for the forms, so it actually makes me wonder, have we actually seen any of the final finishing moves for any of these forms that we've seen thus far throughout the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers? I mean, at first, I honestly thought that the big fist move was actually, Guardian form's final ability, but it would seem like that's just a counter. So it's making me think, like, what are the final moves like? I'd probably say that Square Enix haven't actually shown us a finishing move so far. I mean, most of what we've seen has been pretty impressive, but honestly, I think the most impressive ability that we've seen thus far from an actual form would probably have to be the fist, and that's only a counter attack. Next up, Famitsu asked if certain transformations and forms will be more useful in specific scenarios or certain boss fights. This is what was asked. With the Keyblades, according to their current transformation, the actions available vastly differ from each other. So then, devising effective strategies against enemies, for example against bosses, may vary in difficulty depending on the actions available. Nomura said, I think to some degree there will be transformations that are more or less compatible with certain foes. However, there won't be cases where there will only be one specific strategy or transformation that will ensure victory. It'll be fine for players to choose whether to use their favorite battle style or to opt for something a bit easier. I think when it comes down to it, Kingdom Hearts' formula always provides you with a lot of different variety and option when it comes to the actual battle system. Not really so much within Kingdom Hearts 1, but more so looking at Kingdom Hearts 2, we had a lot of different variety when it came to the different options within its battle system. We had things like summons, the normal bare bones combos, we had magic, limits, and of course on top of that, the awesome drive forms. Kingdom Hearts 3 is definitely bumping this variety out with including stuff like attraction flow, flow motion, the normal combo stuff, Keyblade transformation, animations, and a whole bunch of other things. So I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be a little something like this. In one playthrough, you might think to yourself, alright, I'm going to stick to just using the bare bone combos and the odd situation commands as well as drive forms. But then in the second playthrough, you might think to yourself, okay, this time around, I want to use more attraction flow rides, more summons, more combination attacks. And so I think the aspect of variety is certainly an aspect that Square Enix are most definitely focusing on, more so when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3. We just have so many options to utilize within the battle system. It's pretty extensive. Tetsuya Nomura is saying right here that apparently some transformations will give you a slight edge over certain foes and certain boss fights, but for the most part, there's never going to be one specific way of completing a scenario. So once again, Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to allow us to experiment with all sorts of different attacks and combos and abilities. The different ways and possibilities of destroying enemies and bosses within Kingdom Hearts 3 is pretty much limitless. One thing that I'm really hoping for though is the option to actually actively switch between keyblades on the go. So maybe you've got these quick select slots and perhaps maybe get 3 or 4 of them, and within those slots you can actually equip different keyblades. This would be a system that would allow players to actively switch between keyblades while actually playing the game itself and not actually having to go within menus. Because of course we know that within Kingdom Hearts 3, the way in which forms as well as keyblade transformations work depend on what keyblade you're actively using. Like Tetsuya Nomura said, you know, some forms might give you that slight edge, so it would be really awesome to have these different slots in order to switch between keyblades on the go. Perhaps maybe we need more defense in a certain situation, so we'd quickly whip out the Hercules keyblade in order to activate Guardian form, but then maybe we want some like quick attacks and some quick combos, so then we'd switch out to the Kingdom key in order to activate second form. But anyway guys, that's all the news and information for today. Some pretty interesting stuff to do with keyblade transformations as well as Guardian form. Make sure to leave your guys' response and thoughts in the comment section down below, and until next time guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.